Hi, my name is Amanda Martinez, and thank you for watching this presentation. I chose prompt number 1, which explores the most compelling reason as to why men and women might have differing levels of political ambition, and also what that could mean for public policy, how that could affect public policy. In the end, I conclude that gender socialization is the root cause of the political ambitions gap, and I also offer 3 reasons as to how that could affect public policy and 2 solutions offered by 2 very, very successful women, and I hope you enjoy this presentation. So first I want to point to It Still Takes a Candidate by Lawless and Fox, because they really explore this idea of gender socialization, and they actually break it down into 3 different kind of causes, and those 3 things are traditional family role expectations, and masculinized ethos, and finally gendered psych. So I'm going to talk a little bit about those 3 things, how they work with one another, and how that creates gender socialization, and how that can affect the political ambitions gender gap. So first is traditional family role expectations, and they define it at one point as the normal, appropriate, and desirable set of life circumstances. So it's kind of self-explanatory, where it's this gender-specific expectations of how you should live your life or how you should want to live your life. And this can be as simple as this idea that women should stay home and watch the kids and have this very feminine, nurturing, quiet, maybe more submissive personality, against men who should be the head of the household, who should be the professional career goers, and so on, so on. So you can really break it down deeper than that, but that's very kind of just the outside, most plain explanation. That's followed by masculinized ethos, which is kind of this ideological or structural organizations that have been traditionally dominated by men, and as a result kind of have this kind of gear men towards success and kind of are geared towards masculine success. So they perpetuate this masculinity and success. So that can mean a legislature, for example, that is mostly dominated by men, or even a religious organization or political parties, but it's really just this kind of boys club idea where it's might be open to women technically, but because men have traditionally dominated that group, it's kind of a little bit difficult for women to butt in and join this club. And finally, they say that these 2 together, the traditional family role expectations and masculinized ethos, construct this idea of gendered psych, where it's this mentality that's at the individual level but really pervades throughout society, that pushes men into politics and might encourage women to stay on the sidelines. So together, these things make up gender socialization. And I think they do a great job. They have this quote in Lawless and Fox, and it really drives the point home of what gender socialization is, and I'd like to share it with you. They say, whereas men are taught to be confident, assertive, and self-promoting, cultural attitudes towards women as political leaders, expectations of women's family roles, and the overarching male exclusiveness of most political institutions leave an imprint suggesting to women that it is often inappropriate to possess such characteristics. Next, I want to go to Anne Kornbluth's book in Notes from the Cracked Ceiling. So I just want to point to 2 examples very quickly, kind of just to show how this might play out for candidates that are actually running, and also women that see these candidates, these female candidates running, and see how gender socialization can really affect their campaigns. So Kornbluth talks about Hillary Clinton and Sarah Palin, and Hillary Clinton, she describes, and it's kind of, Hillary Clinton's talked about in a lot of our readings, so a lot of this overlaps, but I want to point to specifically what Kornbluth said, and she described her campaign as, the 2008 presidential campaign, as Clinton being very headstrong, very masculine in how she was portrayed by the media. The pantsuits and being very strong, being very assertive, and very critical of her physical appearance as not being feminine enough. And even to the point where these leadership traits and things that maybe in a man would be commended as a political leader, but in Hillary Clinton she was actually called bitchy for them. And on the flip side is Sarah Palin, who is this ex-beauty queen, and I think the chapter's titled Beauty is Beastly. And she talks about how beauty was actually a problem because she was quote-unquote superficially seen as positive, but the beauty was actually a liability in political terms because she fulfilled this beauty expectation of what a woman should be, but along is this like dumb blonde idea where there's this idea that there's a lack of intelligence that might come with that. So you have these two ends of the spectrum of being too masculine or too feminine, and kind of this gender socialization that hurt their political campaigns. Next, I want to talk about how this could affect public policy in 3 ways. So Rainbow Murray in Cracking the Highest Glass Ceiling talks about how women are traditionally have soft issues, which is welfare, education, healthcare, civil rights, and the environment, and men champion hard issues like military spending, foreign trade, agriculture, taxes. So 3 ways this could affect public policy is 1, there are less women in office, meaning that men can control public policy without significant input from women. 2, the women that do hold office will probably focus on the different issues than the men will, just the soft and the hard issues. And 3, that there might be a conscious effort to reverse these negative gender role expectations that is really similar to the strategic stereotype theory by Friedkin and Kenny, but it's just that now they are in office, they might try to change those expectations. So the 2 solutions offered are by Anne-Marie Slaughter and Sheryl Sandberg, where Anne-Marie Slaughter says we should revalue our values and reevaluate and prioritize our career and family goals to realistic aims. And it's the honest and kind of truth that you don't really want to hear, but I think it's very insightful. And Sandberg says that you really have to put your nose to the grindstone and fight for the realization of those goals. So I think really all in all, even though they kind of seem to contrast each other, I think they're saying that it's important to accept the existence but not the limitations of gender stereotypes. And from there we can begin to close this political gender ambitions gap. Thank you for listening to my presentation, and I hope you have a great day.